To Johannesburg now, and Khulekani Skosana, chairperson of international relations at the African National Congress Youth League, to hear his take. You're very welcome to the programme. Do you think this deal will bring real, tangible relief to the global food crisis and be as important, as vital as it's being reported today?
Thank you so much for having us.
Sure.
I think today and through this deal, the Russian Federation has been vindicated, because the same people that are now asking Russia to be at the forefront of the solution for the global food crisis that is looming are the same people that isolated and condemned the Russian people into the wilderness, not knowing that to pluck out the Russian Federation from global civilization, or to attempt to do that, is like attempting to pluck out an organ in your body. So we say that this is an important milestone. And again, the Russian Federation has displayed that it is a patriot of human rights by signing this agreement. We're a bit worried that the Ukraine people have signed this agreement in bad faith, because refusing to put your signature on the same paper as the Russian Federation is already a signal that you don't have the best of intentions with implementing this particular agreement. So we hope that the Ukrainians will not use this grain and food crisis to hold the world and the poor of the poorest at ransom.
On the logistics themselves, the UN says it expects grain ships to start moving out within the next 2 weeks. How quickly will the grain be able to reach the markets, that wheat going to where it needs to go?
Well, it's worrisome, because I don't know the refusal by the Ukrainian government to demine their ports is also a signal that they don't have intention of assisting in ending the looming famine around the world, and I mean in sub-Saharan Africa mostly. So we are worried that this might be again another piece of paper that is being signed, and the lack of commitment from the Ukrainian side, because these are people who went into that meeting in Istanbul with a very bad attitude as it comes to where they put human rights and where they value the fact that people are starving in the world, and the solution is that agreement. So we're worried that these grains might not reach the poorest of the poor.
Well, just on that point, there are analysts saying that, yeah, just like you're saying, that those first shipments of grain, where will they go? Will they go to people who can pay the market rate, or those most in need of assistance the most? So it's not totally clear what's happening next.
I mean, out of 250 billion of those tons of grain, we expect and we are asking that 80% of them go to sub-Saharan Africa, because that is where the hungry and the poor are currently. And that is the most affected by this crisis. So we think that it is the political willingness of the Ukrainian government that will determine whether this agreement comes into light or it is just another piece of paper. So we hope that they indeed prioritize the value of human rights and the value of lives that are at stake because of this crisis. And we depend on a lot of fertilizer, for instance, from Russia. And we want to also ask Washington and Brussels to lift their bans on Russian ships and Russian goods, because it is not a one-sided coin. It is not only Russia that must open the gates, but it is also Washington and the West that has imposed sanctions which we view as young people of Africa as weapons of war. So what is causing the crisis, the food crisis in the world? It is the decisions that have been taken by the West to sanction the Russian government. And we do not want to forget, and we want to repeat what we said in February, that this situation is caused by the NATO expansions towards the East and threatening the sovereignty of the Russian people. So if we want to solve this problem and more problems that are coming if this continues, we have to go back to the beginning. And now the attitude of the West in its attempts to recruit Finland and Sweden, it is not a good signal that this situation will end soon. So we're worried that these people on the other side, they are pretending to care about the poor, to care about those who do not have food. But on the other side, they are adding fuel to fire. And by sending and by continuing to send military weapons to Ukraine, it is not a signal that these are people who seek peace. And we really want to say to the Russian people that we appreciate their gesture of goodwill by coming to the table and willing to be party to this agreement.
Always good to talk to you. Thank you for your time and your thoughts today, Khulekani. Khulekani Skosana, chairperson of international relations at the African National Congress Youth League.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Africa needs to do more.